I am broken, depressed. Foreigners struggle to find work in Finland. Immigrants job hunting in Finland says they face a language barrier as well as discrimination with respect to pay and contracts. Hello and welcome to my channel where I give you useful information in a precise manner. My name is Umar and today I am back with a very interesting topic, and that is jobs, myths, racism and everything all around it. I've just read a headline of a newspaper, ule.fi, and the article was published there. So immigrants having a problem in job searching. The biggest problem obviously is the language barrier, and then they also feel some discrimination and stuff like that. And apart from that, there are many myths around it. So are these true or not? What we are looking at, is it really difficult to find jobs in Finland, or do we have some exception? So we're going to talk about all these things today in this video. Let's go. Okay, the myth number one is the Finnish language. So the myth is you cannot find a job in Finland without the appropriate knowledge of Finnish language. That is true and false at the same time. Actually, it depends on the nature of the job. For example, one thing we should know that Finnish is the toughest language in the world. There is no doubt about that. One of the very toughest languages to learn, and your knowledge of previous languages is not going to help you because it does not fall in any language category. So you have to learn it from zero to onwards, and it's not easy, particularly with respect to your age. The elder you are, the difficult it is, and I'm telling you, it is very difficult to learn that language. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is truly possible. Even I can speak a bit now, but the working proficiency and to achieve a certain level, let's say C1, C2, that is not easy. But if we say that this myth is 100% true, then no, there is an exception. I can agree to that, okay, 70% is true and 30% is not true, because most jobs in Finland are related to the ICT sector. For example, you can see this picture. So in this picture, you can see the active job openings across top 6 specialities in Finland. So the top 6 specialities in Finland, number one is software engineering, then sales and business development, then IT and system administration, then finance, then marketing, PR and media, and customer support. So you can see yourself where you rank in that. So if you are a software engineer or you do something with the IT and system administration, then you have more chances to be hired compared to the business development people, the sales guys, the finance guys, and the customer support. These are all other management jobs, so they are less preferred. The IT guys are more preferred. So make your decisions accordingly. So if you are from the ICT sector, then welcome to Finland. If you are not, then welcome to Finland, but with a lot of patience. So that's one thing. Now, the myth number two is ethical discrimination and prejudice and racism. Some people say that and they tend to believe that Finns are racist and they have prejudice. I am not 100% agree with that statement, but I'm not going to say I disagreed 100% too. They are not racist, they are xenophobic people, but they do have some prejudice with certain group of people, again towards certain communities. They do have it, and I also feel that sometimes it's available, it's existing, anybody can feel and sense that. But I'm not gonna say that 100% that Finns are racist. Xenophobic is a nice word to explain, and they are like, because they have some kind of a nationalistic attitude. Now, to highlight my point even further and to make you understand, I'm going to take some help from the recent studies conducted in Finland on discrimination. There are many studies conducted in Finland as well as around the Nordic region, so I'm going to highlight a few points from there. Dr. Ikhlaq Ahmed from University of Helsinki, he published a study, When the Name Matters, and about the discrimination, and it was a published study and peer reviewed. So we have amazing findings in that study. I'm going to highlight some examples from the study. If you want to read more about it, I'm going to leave the link down there. You can see the whole paper and you can get more details about it. But my point is, he actually built up a scenario where he sent 500 applications, and he divided the applicants, fictitious applicants, into 5 categories or 5 nationalities. He got a general Finn, white Finn, then he got a British guy, then number 3 he got Russian, then he have Iraqi, and then he have Somali. So like 5 people. So you see this picture and we talk about that further. So interview invites per 500 applications. So you can see that. So if there is a white Finn and he sent those applications, then the chances of hiring for women and men are right below. You can see that the white Finn is way higher compared to a Somali guy or Iraqi guy, Russian guy, or an English guy. So this picture can give us a clear idea, and we can also see that the women are more preferred, for the job than compared to the men. So this is like one example. So the study basically explained if you are non-Finnish or foreigner or anybody else other than the Finnish, then you have to apply or send more application to get the same amount of callback. To make you understand even better, I have made an example, and let's see to that example. So in this picture we can see if you are a Finnish national, you send 10 applications, then you get 1 callback. So if you are a British national and you speak good English, so you get 1 callback, and you have to send 1.45 times more application than the Finnish. So you will be sending 15 application and you get the same amount of callback. That means one job call. And for the Russian, you need to send 1.71 times more than the Finnish, so it comes to 17. And for Iraqis, you need to send 2.91 times more than the Finnish applicant. So that means you'll be sending 29 application. And for Somalian is the lowest one, you have to send 3.94 times than the Finnish applicant. That means 39, and then you get the 1 callback. Now, if you notice in this picture, the Iraqi column is like, I have used the border in that one. Why is that? Now look at me. Sometime when I have the beer on, people tend to tell me that, hey, you look like Iraqi guy. So that's why I just did that. So if I have to apply for a job, I have to send 30 applications, then I might get 1 callback. Now, will that lead to a job? That's a different story altogether. But I'm just like 1 callback. You get 1 response from the recruiter. That is it. Now, the funny part of this research is the jobs and the applications sent in that research was not sent for the project manager or regional head. No, it's not like that. The industries were selected from the low-level service industry. I mean, the restaurant, the cleaning companies, customer services. These are the low-level paid jobs. In those jobs, the competition is in front of you. So now you can compare and think yourself when we talk about the high-level jobs where you have more responsibility, how things gonna be. So, all right. Now, the myth number 3 talks about your name and your background, where you came from. Does it really matter in Finland, or it does not matter? Well, the study showed that it does matter. The probability of Mohammed Abdul Rashid getting a job in Finland is way lesser than Matti Hämäläinen. That is actually prevalent in the market, and that's the conclusion. That's the conclusion of it. Apart from that, people with the African name and Asian name find it very hard, and they are less preferred compared to the Finnish name. That's the name thing. So it's all in the name, guys. That's one thing. Now, adding more insult to the injury, I have came across some details when I was researching about the topic, and there are other studies as well in the Finland and somewhere else in Europe which actually have some prejudice against the African people. For example, here is one screenshot for you. You can see that Black African mental capabilities are weakened than those of white people who live in the Western world. And this statement can be found and resonated even in the Finnish politics. There are a lot of Finns party voters who are very nationalistic or sometimes ultra-nationalists. They really believe in that. So I was talking about the Professor Ahmed. So he was also surprised with the size of differences. His wording is like that. I do not expect a candidate's background to such a big factor. I thought that things would have been improved in the last 20 years, but they have not. So that means when Ahmed came to Finland, it was about 2002 or 3 or maybe 4 earlier. And now we're talking about 2020, so things have not changed to a drastic level. So that is something one should care about. Okay, then we have another experience from East Africa region, from Kenya. There is a lady, Jane, and from Kenya. I have a degree in nursing from Finnish Institute. I would evaluate my Finnish level to be C2. Guys, that's really good level. I have a diploma in personal and fitness training. Now also doing some open university studies at a Finnish university. That will lead to a master's in public health and global health. I have sent several applications in search of sairaanhoitaja, that means a nurse, and lähihoitaja, practical nursing job. Most are not responded to. Some have called to ask about my nationality. And when I say Kenya, they said, sorry, you have a nice CV, but we need a Finnish national. From these examples and supported by the studies, we can see that yes, the name does matter. It's all in the name. So apart from that, we do have some other studies. I'm putting the link down below. It was conducted in Sweden, and then there are a few other studies too. So if you want to learn more about it, you can just go and see. It's all there. Now the number 4 is the trust issues. Why Finnish people don't trust with foreigners when it comes to foreigners, giving them jobs which have more responsibility, which have more authority and stuff like that. Basically, for that we need to go back a little in the history. I'm sure people who are interested in Finland, they know that Finland was part of Swedish Empire for like 7 centuries or so, and then they being ruled by Russia for almost 100 years or so. So Finland is a country, or the land we call Finland nowadays. They have been occupied all the time in the previous years, in the previous centuries. They never occupy anybody, they never make any colony, so they were dominated by external forces most of the time, for neighbors. So when they see a foreigner or somebody who is not a Finn, sometimes their unconscious behavior kicks in. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm trying to tell you the group behavior. I'm not talking about the individual Finn. You can find really good, nice Finns there, very international, they go normal, but I'm talking about the group behavior in general. So that is why foreigners are not treated in the same level as the Finnish. So trust is a great factor which we should not ignore. Finns don't trust foreigners for high responsibility roles because they think and they know that these are foreigners, these are not Finns. At the end of the day, they have to go back to their country, so there is no point spending time on these ones and preparing them for the next role. Although you might have heard fancy words and a lot of motivation when you go to recruitment events, we need diversity, we need inclusion and all that, yes. But when it comes to actual practical thing, that subconscious thing which I was just talking about kicks in, and they prefer a native Finn compared to a foreign person. So that's why we see a lot of foreigners in the blue collar jobs or in the low level job, but there are very few cases when we talk about the white collar high end job. That's not available. Yes, there are exceptions, but I'm not going to say that everybody thinks that way, but generally that's the trend. So trust is a major factor. Okay, the number 5 is what recruiters think. This is not a myth actually. This is the recruiter's point of view. People who look at your CV and who shortlist you, who evaluate you, what they think is important, what's not important. Because we just talk about from job seekers' point of view. So to elaborate this point, I'm going to take some help with the survey conducted by Dunnitori in February 2020. They have contacted many recruitment professionals in Finland, out of which 255 professionals replied and they submit their responses. So we have a good amount of data which we can evaluate to get some better understanding of the topic. So see this picture and we talk about it. So if in this picture you can see the first and foremost thing recruiters see is the motivation for the job, how motivated you are for the job, and the second thing is fit with the corporate culture. Now if you see, you have an arrow here from least important to most important, and these are the items on the left you can see. So the first one is motivation, second one is fit for the culture, third one is previous job experience, and number 4 we have special skills, and number 5 is the place for education. So when they see your CV, they see these things like that. I'm going to explain the second one a bit further. It's all written here, fit with the corporate culture. This actually has 2 parts as per my experience. There is one, job fit. Like, are you fit for the job? Your skills are matching with the job they advertise. And secondly, fit for the corporate culture. Like, what kind of culture the company is having? Are you good fit for that or not? I have a personal experience. I applied for one position. It was a business controller position. I have all what it takes, and it was in English. The job advertisement entails clearly that they do not need the Finnish language. So I was very happy that I'm going to get this job. But the answer I get from the recruitment agency that, hey, everything is fine, but actually the office is in Tampere, and in Tampere people speak Finnish, and you do not speak Finnish. But I said, actually, the job ad says we need somebody who can speak good English, and you need to deal with outsiders, I mean international companies. He said, yeah, everything is fine, but I'm sorry for that. So I was not fit for the corporate, I was not fit for the company, although I was fit for the job. So take this thing into account too. And the list goes on. I'm going to post the link in the description. You can take it from there. The thing is, for the Finns, things are different and they are preferred because that's actually Finland. It's a nation state, that's their country. And for the foreigners, we have different standards, and this thing is acknowledged even by the government and many of the professionals working in the immigration and integration services. One of the person I would like to refer is Eve Kuntaya. In an interview, they talk about that immigrants are more vulnerable because they don't know the language. and they don't know their rights. Sometimes they are not paid salaries in the bank, they are paid cash salaries, they are paid less salaries than the normal, than the contract and agreement, and sometimes they are terminated without any reason, without the proper procedures are followed, and they've not been offered vacation, or sometimes they were offered vacation without compensation. So these things are available, and yes, there is a two-tier job market. They agree, understand that. So my point is to making the whole video and to explain you the myths. Few of them are correct, few of them are not correct, that how we gonna take it up from there. If you're gonna live in Finland, how you move on. Before we go to that, I'm going to give you something that what government is doing. Government has implemented a plan we call anonymous recruitment. Mostly in Helsinki, it's being carried out with full zeal and zest. Plus, in other areas too, there are many cities which are implementing that. But still, not all the companies and not all over Finland you find anonymous recruitment is a thing. It's still not a thing. Basically, what happens in anonymous recruitment, you don't need to share your name, your background, your marital status, your gender, and other details, and you keep it secretive. You don't need to send them. You just talk about what you know, what you have done. So if the employer needs that thing or that skill set, then you can be hired. But the pace is very slow. It needs to catch up with many things. It's not a big thing so far now, but yeah, it's like some fresh air is there. They're doing something about it. That's what I can tell you. So be positive. And now in the end, I'm going to give you my insight, what kind of orientation you should have if you're going to live in Finland. And that is actually true for all over the world. So you need some kind of motivation to keep going. You need some kind of motivation to stay persistent and keep following your dream. So if you look at this picture on my right, you will see a glass of water, but actually that's not a full glass of water. So we have two types of people. Some are positive, some are negative. So if you think that this glass of water is half empty, so that reflects a pessimistic behavior. That means you always see the negative side of the thing. So you are a pessimistic person. But if you look on my left, you will see a glass of water, the same one actually, but the view is different. Now I and people like who are positive mindset people, they're going to say, oh, still we have half glass of water. So you see, I'm the pessimistic, I'm not the pessimistic, I'm optimistic kind of a guy. So I'm like positive. So we have two approaches here: negative, pessimistic, positive, optimistic. So if you are living in Finland, you need the left side approach. That means you need to be positive all the time. But if you are a pessimistic guy, then I have an advice for you. Do not come to Finland. So guys, that's all I have to say. If you face discrimination in your workplace recently or somewhere you apply for the job, then do let me know in the comments. Other people might get help from it, or anything else you want to say and share your experience, how Finland is treating you, how things are going. Let me know in the comments. I will see you around. Bye-bye.